It's hard to believe that it's already been a year since we've had C3PMO mowing our lawn. This is a 1-year review of the Luba 5000. This is the original Mammotion Luba. Check out those lines, it does a great job. Welcome back to another Jeff Reviews for you. And as you saw, we are looking at the 1-year review of the Mammotion Luba 5000. We're gonna talk about the good and the not so good. You know what though? Enough talk. Let's get right into this review. And of course, we're going to start with something that was a little disappointing. A couple times a week, I'll actually come out and I'll notice, like today, the grass is actually pretty long, like it's not been mowed. I'm like, wait, why is this thing not mowing the lawn? Then I go check out the lawnmower and this is a frustration for me. The mower is actually on its base, but what I notice is it's not charging because I have my side lights on blinking when it's charging. And so then I had to look into this a little further. After taking the mower off of the base, I noticed that one of the electronic components here where there are ports where it goes to charge, it sort of gets stuck inside. Because it gets stuck in this position, the mower just will not charge. And I actually have to come out here every day or every other day, pull this part out just so it can connect and charge. I did a little more research and the base here is under a 1-year warranty. So I contacted the company and they agreed that that should not happen. And so they have sent me out a new charging base. Now that we are charging, once this is completely charged up, we're ready to get back to mowing. I wanted to talk a little bit about the warranty. You know, right here from the video we just saw, there's a 1-year warranty on the charging base. There's a 2-year limited warranty on the mower itself that covers various parts that are not considered wearable parts. So just so you know, make sure you're understanding your warranty, what you can have replaced and what you can't. Let's get right back into this review. This part you can't really blame Mammotion or Luba for because they did provide you with a mat to put down right in front of the base. So when Luba turned around to charge, it wouldn't tear up your grass. Clearly over the last year, I haven't put down that base. I am gonna do that now. And what I'm thinking is the grass is supposed to grow through that little mat piece and therefore you don't get this circle, so to speak. So let's actually install that now. Another part of the reason why I didn't install it before is because I didn't really know where to put it. It's not big enough to go in front of the base and where it turns, so I'm gonna put it to where the big circle was right here, but I can still see over here, this part is also torn up pretty well from the robot lawnmower repositioning itself, but we are gonna put it right where the big circle was forming. To secure the mat down, they actually have a pretty neat system. You have these typical landscaping stakes or nails, and they go into this plastic piece, and that plastic piece is meant, so I guess the rubber mat doesn't rip out. So what I'm doing is I'm just putting it around at various areas. Just like that, we are done staking down the mat. I actually put a lot more in this corner because that's where the lawnmower makes its initial entrance into the area to turn around. I wanted to keep that secure. The cool thing is I can already see the grass starting to pop up through the mat. Now this all brings me back to my original observation. I'm glad that area over there is going to be protected where the circle was, but what about right here? The lawnmower also tears it up there. I kind of wish this thing was an additional 3 feet longer. That being said, this may no longer be an issue because the new Lubas come out with the omnidirectional wheels and you may not have the trouble tearing up the grass. For those of us original users, I guess we're out of luck. Now let's test out our mat and hopefully it stays down tight as the Luba enters in. Now, remember we said we have more tacks in that corner than anywhere else, but let's see it spin. And that's why our grass was tearing up all along the way, but guess what? It's probably gonna be protected now. Very cool. I do notice from time to time that the grass can get really compacted underneath and I have to clean this out every few weeks, really after it rains and then the Luba goes out and mows, it sort of like gets trapped under here, especially under these guard areas. So I ended up just taking a little stake or whatever to clean this mess out. Once I get most of the big clumps out, I just get a garden hose, not under any real pressure because Luba says you're not supposed to really pressure wash the underneath here, but I do just spray a little bit to clean the rest of it out that's hard to get to. Then I'll dump it over and let it dry out. Now that we're all fresh and clean underneath here, I also take the time to inspect the blades. I do this every 3 months or so, and I just end up replacing them. I don't necessarily mark down on my calendar 3 months. I start to look to see when the lawnmower is no longer mowing very well. I say, well, it's time to replace those blades. And as you can see, these blades are looking rough. Not to mention, it looks like some of the blades have actually seized. This one's not even really working. It's even hard for me to get it to move over. So this one's been spinning, this one's been spinning, but some of these are just locked into place. So what I'm gonna do now is I'll replace the blades. When we purchased the Luba originally, it came with a wrench to remove and replace all these. So just make sure you keep these things aside. I keep mine in a drawer and I mark it with the Mammotion label just so I know what it's for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one of the wheels first and then I'll do the other one. What I liked about the Luba blades is you can actually use both sides. You can see this one is really worn down on that side, so I can actually flip it around in the mower, put the screw through here, and now I'm using this part as the sharp side. I like that I have the ability to just flip them around and keep on going. I'm actually going to replace mine because both of my sides are dull, but that's a cool feature. Here's just a side-by-side view of a very used blade compared to the new ones that I am putting on. You can definitely tell this is no longer sharp and probably, well, not even cutting the grass. Here's our fresh blade. You can see we have a new washer and a new screw ready to go, putting them in place. When you put the blades in, you want them tight enough to where they go in and are held tight, but also loose enough where this thing could still spin around. There you have it. After 20 minutes, all 8 blades have been replaced. I typically am able to get one set of blades for an entire year. I replace them every 3 months, meaning I flip them around. But since it's been a new year, I'm actually just replacing the blades altogether and getting a fresh start. Maintenance is just part of life with one of these little robotic lawnmowers. You always have to make sure you keep it clean and those blades need to be swapped out. Directions tell you that you should do this every month or every other month. I let it extend as long as I can because those blades are expensive. They do sell replacement blades for about $50 and you do have about 3 years of blades for that $50, just so you're aware of that. One of my favorite updates since when I first got it is the ability to actually drive it like a remote control lawnmower. So I have the app pulled up. We are getting ready to go. The blades have kicked in gear and now I can actually drive the robot lawnmower to mow down this grass. That is really cool. I kind of feel like I'm way back in the movie Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, but of course this goes a whole lot slower. Still is pretty cool. A tip that I've learned over the past year is although it can mow an awful lot, it's not always good to have it programmed to mow the max. What I do is I have it mow this area every other day because then I know it's always going to be mowed and then I can tend to the other areas myself. Plus, this area doesn't have a whole lot of things for it to avoid because the obstacle avoidance system on this particular mower is terrible. It mows right up against the hay line right here. You can see the tall grass. That's actually hay that gets mowed down by the farmer, and it does this entire area every other day. In this video, we are talking about our 1-year review for the Mammotion Luba 5000. So what did we think of it? First things first, we got to talk about our original price point, which was right around $2,500. And that, in my opinion, is a very expensive. Although, have you seen Luba 2? I think it's almost twice the price. Let's get back to the Luba 1. And I was kind of disappointed that I looked up on Amazon and they're no longer selling it. So then I went to the Mammotion website and guess what? It's no longer listed there either. I thought, wait, did they just abandon this entire unit? They do have a few items for sale on eBay. It is from the Mammotion company on eBay and they're selling it. I'm wondering if they're just dumping extra stock to move on to the Luba 2. That to me was a little disappointing. In my experience, I really liked the original Mammotion Luba. Although it was expensive, I think it does a very good job mowing. Plus, it mows an area that I don't even have to concentrate on, and that to me is awesome. I will say, I talked about some of the frustrations here with my charging where it wouldn't work. Also, anytime the system gets an update, well, the whole unit shuts down and you have to go out there, boot it back up. When you log into the app, you have to re-agree to the system's agreements and then it will boot back up again. But that's kind of frustrating. Why do I have to re-agree to everything in order for it to work again? That is a pretty big frustration. So if you have one of these, make sure you're always logging in so the mower will work. I also talked about the obstacle avoidance system. This one is terrible. It's almost like it doesn't even exist. I did see the upgrades on the Luba 2, and maybe that's something I'll test down the road, but this was a huge negative part for this unit because it just doesn't avoid anything. It will be stuck up a tree, under a car, or just wherever, and that's been frustrating over the last year. In the end, after a year, I really like my purchase. It was really expensive, but it does save me a lot of time. And now that I have that mat down in front, I won't have the eyesore of that big circle. Anyway, that was my full 1-year review. I do appreciate that you stayed around for the entire video. But you know what? If you haven't seen my original review, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna link it right up here. And when you click this link, by the magic of the internet, I'm gonna join you right there. So go ahead, click it. It's safe, I promise.